welcome everybody to Stillwater, and we are here on a very potentially historic week facing a government shutdown. And there's folks all across the state of Minnesota, schools, roads, healthcare, wondering what's going to happen. And I think the bridge behind us is a good example of what people all across the state are saying, is that we don't know whether or not this is going to work, whether or not this is going to go up or down in a shutdown. The Stillwater Hospital, a third of their patients come from Wisconsin, so the folks in ambulances and families with pregnant moms trying to get to the hospital are going to come to a bridge and they're going to see a close sign if this indeed shuts down and this bridge doesn't operate. And this is really a symbol of what's going on all across the state. People are saying, what's going to happen? And I think we have an opportunity to get our work done. We're very, very close in very many areas. And the governor needs to sign a transportation bill so that this bridge is operational and Minnesota stays working. We think that we're very close and we can get our work done. A shutdown is unnecessary, and I think that we need to get our work done this week. The time is of the essence. Governor needs to call us back. We need to get our work done. Majority Leader Koch?
No, well, no, that's great. No, and I think that Matt just hit it on the head. So where we've been saying since the end of session, there are areas where we're close. Since there was a compromise offer by the Republicans a few weeks ago of another $200 million, we were able to meet the governor's number when it came to K-12, dollar for dollar. We put another $30 million into public safety, another $50 million into higher ed, and more money into transportation. And the transportation bill itself, as you all know, over 99% of it is dedicated funds. It's gas tax, it's motor vehicle sales tax. It has nothing to do with the general fund budget except for a very, very small portion of it, and we're moving in that area. And so the message remains the same. Governor, call us back. Let's work on the bills that we have, where we have very near to agreement, get those settled, continue to work on the others, and a shutdown is unnecessary and it's not acceptable. So I think we should maybe turn over to the locals and they can talk specifically about the bridge and the issues they're seeing.
Go ahead.
Well, thank you. Thanks all of you for coming today, and I'm really excited about the hope that we have to keep this bridge in operation. When I heard from the president of Lakeview Hospital that this was a concern, I immediately was very, very concerned and got on the phone and actually called Governor Dayton and talked to him about this. And he was very agreeable with me that this is an important safety issue for the people of this district, and he told me that he would do all that he could to keep this bridge going. So keep it in operation. Then we heard the next day that might not be possible. It's been kind of going back and forth, but for us here, the local representatives, we want to keep our people safe. And that 24-mile detour that it would take to go around is just too far in any kind of an emergency. So with Lumberjack Days coming and the 4th of July, this is just a very, very important thing. So thank you.
Mayor, come on, Mayor.
I'm Ken Hrisky, the mayor of Stillwater, and it just, this whole scenario that we're going through with the possible shutdown just underscores the importance of arriving at a solution, both in terms of the state budget, with both parties working together, much as they work together on resolving or taking steps towards resolving our bridge issue. Furthermore, the life safety issue is of tremendous importance to us in the Valley. We're very concerned about it, especially with our hospital receiving 1/3 of their patients and the busy 4th of July weekend coming up. So, earlier today I did send a letter to the governor asking that, he's since reversed his position, but in the event that there is a shutdown and he decides not to fund the bridge operator, that we look at using the National Guard to at least man the bridge to keep it open from a life safety standpoint. So I'm hopeful everyone here can work together and arrive at a solution to the budget problems.
This bridge is a critical link to the residents on the Wisconsin and Minnesota side of this river, and this river really links the communities together. And what has happened here is the governor is holding this community hostage over what is happening with the budget. We cannot afford to have this bridge closed because of the safety to the residents of both communities. And If this is deemed to be something that is going to be left open, then this is also indicative of the other types of things that are happening across the state. There are thousands of these types of decisions that are going to be made about safety, about infrastructure, about construction projects, about getting people back to work. And it's time that this bridge be left in the open position and that these other projects be completed. The legislature is ready to work, we're ready to come back, and we need the governor to call us back so we can complete this session.
Great. Say anything, Ray?
Well, thank you. You know, the governor was good enough. He came down here with flood preparation, worked in a bipartisan way. The governor came here and vowed to work in a bipartisan way on the new Stillwater Bridge. And I think now today we don't want to spoil that record by having him play partisan politics with the health and safety of the people of Stillwater. So let's get back to work, finish our work, get it done. It's what the people of Minnesota expect. Very doable, and let's just do it.
Questions?
After a couple days of what seemed like negotiations that were going well yesterday, things ended abruptly. Was there a disagreement? Was there a tip? What happened? What went wrong?
Again, the governor very clearly stated both Friday, Saturday. You know, that will remain in the negotiations we were having between Senator Koch, myself, the governor, majority leaders, and Dina and Deputy Leader Michelle. We're going to abide by that. The governor has asked us to. We've agreed to that, so we'll leave that in there. This is what we've been talking about since middle of May, which is transportation bill has always been really close. One bridge being open, they all should be open. All the transportation projects should continue for whatever we're close on, sign that. But that's what we've been talking about for a very long time. We're not going to talk about what we were discussing in the negotiations over the weekend.
Is this time well spent to be here today rather than at the Capitol negotiating right now?
We're going to be meeting later on this afternoon, so absolutely. I mean, you look at the local officials who are here, who have made that request very clearly. I understand Governor Walker wants to come over and run the controls himself, but we can do it ourselves. Folks here in Stillwater have done a great job for decades. We've maintained that they can continue to do a great job, and they should be able to do a great job. Just sign the transportation bill, and then we don't have to worry about it.
For the folks who see this as a bipartisan shutdown, who don't see GOP and DFL, just look at St. Paul, and they look at their holiday plans being disrupted and the road work stopped, and knowing that eventually something has to be worked out, what do you say to them if they say, why couldn't you come to the eventual common ground without the pain?
We're there.
Again, we agree. This is one of those areas that there's, as Senate Majority Leader said, it's 99% federal funds. There is very little that the state of Minnesota has to do with this bill. This is one that we've pretty darn close on agreement. We should sign that and get it out of the way, because that way people in Minnesota should not be, their plans shouldn't change. These road projects should continue, especially ones that are federally funded. They should continue. That's what we've been maintaining all along, is that we should get those keep those working. And then, yes, there are some things that we disagree on, absolutely, but we made 3 compromises. In a number of those compromises, we've included additional funds to meet the governor at his level prior to this last weekend. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we gave up all of our tax cuts. We just asked him to give up all of his tax increases, and we can get this done.
Also, it costs money to shut the government down, and it costs money to get the government back up and running again. Is that money well spent, or is that money wasted?
No, it's all goes to the same argument. We think a shutdown is absolutely unnecessary. Let's go to work. We have multiple bills where we are extremely close on. We're going to have to do some more work and compromise on the other bills. That can be accomplished, but we've got a number of bills: transportation, public safety, K-12 education, higher education, where we could get deals in very short order and then focus our attentions on where we have more difficulty. A shutdown is absolutely unnecessary.
Mr. Speaker, using an analogy that you've used quite a bit, the game clock is ticking here. Are you going into today's negotiations frustrated, invigorated? Just kind of give us the tone walking into the door today.
Well, we remain optimistic that we can come to compromise and get a budget signed before June 30th. Senator Michelle has been exuberantly optimistic. I'm still remaining optimistic. Again, there's a lot of these things that we're very close on, and to say that we, have not been, working hard on this, I think is an understatement. We've worked very hard, especially over the weekend. We have made compromises on our side from the standpoint of we didn't want to spend more money on government. We're going to spend some more money, but it's just a matter of are we going to be so far out of proportion with our spending that it's a 20 or 14 or 18% increase in spending? We think 6% is enough.
So are you changing your game plan at all moving forward, or are you going to stay the same?
Well, that remains in the negotiating room. We're going to leave that under the cone of silence, and we'll leave it right back there. But we do think that on some of the things where we've made compromise, that's good progress.
How confident are you that by the end of the day, whenever the agreement comes, be it this week or a month from now, that the final agreement will include a $34 billion budget?
Again, Baird, I'll leave that in the room. We just remain confident that we can compromise, we can have an agreement, we can get this done by June 30th. So a government shutdown, to quote Senator Koch, is unnecessary.
Looking at the logistics, what is the timeline realistically? If this can get done by midnight on Thursday, what has to happen today, tomorrow to get it all in before the deadline?
Sure.
Jeff, I'll get to that. I think today, where we are right now, this is a great photo for us, and it's a reminder. Minnesotans are ready for summer. Minnesotans are ready for summer. They don't want to shut down. We don't want to shut down. There's only one person in the whole state that can prevent that, and that's the governor, by calling us back into special session. We know from our work over the last days and over the last weeks and months with the administration, with his commissioners, that we are close on more than half the budget. Why wouldn't you pass half the budget if you knew you were in agreement? Why wouldn't you start with that? So we can start with that at the front end or the middle of this week in the next couple days. We are powering up the legislative branch. We're ready to go. We're ready to pass these bills. There's more discussions and negotiations today, and then we can finish the rest of the budget. Let's go. We are ready to go, and we're waiting for the governor.
With the shutdown 4 days away, how long can you folks and the governor conceal whether you're actually making progress toward a resolution or not, do you think? Conceal.
Yeah, I think as the governor explained it with the negotiations, we find that folks feel that it's a little more conducive to keep some of the discussions behind. But I think that obviously the process is an incredibly transparent process. When the bills come out, I mean, the bills will be online. The revisor notes them. So, I mean, this process will be shared with all Minnesotans, as it should be. But we need to get to work.
Another point on transparency, if you will. Whatever the legislative branch does will be totally in the open.
Right.
The lift bridge is an example of we don't want judges and lawyers making decisions about bridges. We want the legislative branch, through an appropriation signed by the governor, to make it happen. That's open. That's transparent. That's what people can see. You can only guess what a judge is going to do. You can only guess what the governor's lawyer is going to argue today versus what he might argue tomorrow. So we are absolutely for openness.
Would you be willing to give the governor what he wants to prevent a shutdown and fight this battle another day, say in November?
This is the largest budget in the state of Minnesota's history. It's a 6% increase over the last budget. If you throw in all the stimulus money, if you throw, backfill, all that stuff, this is an increase. Most Minnesotans are not seeing an increase in their family's budget. The state, the country, there's a lot of countries around the world that are in tough financial times. Raising taxes on those small business owners, those families, any business owner, if one business owner, because of the governor's tax increase, takes that bridge to Wisconsin, that's bad for Minnesota. So we think the biggest budget in the state's increase with a 6% increase should be enough. We should be able to prioritize within that budget and then live within our means, just like every other Minnesotan has to do.
And to that as well, Tim, we understand that the governor is going to have to get some of what he wants. That's the art. That's why if you look at the K-12 bill, that's a great example. We went 100% of the way to the governor's position on K-12 because we heard him. Education is important to our legislators. It's important to the people of Minnesota. The governor ran on increased funding to education every year. I'm governor, no excuses, no exceptions. We heard that. We understood that was very important to him, and we met the governor not halfway, but 100% of the way on the K-12 budget. Now, there's going to be give and take like that. We understand that. But again, there's multiple bills where we are achieving that. Let's get those passed. Let's get some success and some wins for the people of Minnesota under our belt, and then let's tackle and at the same time you can tackle the more difficult budget areas and find those areas of compromise.
But the reality of it is, the short-term reality of the shortest way of saying it is, if that's what it comes down to, you are willing to shut the government down.
That would be the governor.
Yeah, the shutdown is not acceptable. We would ask the governor to call us back. Let's call us back. Let's go to work.
One more. Hey, I'm wondering about this news release from MnDOT saying that the bridge will stay open, that they've determined it to be a critical service. Did you guys know about that coming out here, or is this one of those little wins you want to get under your belt?
It is a win. That's good.
Or what?
Well, we certainly hope that that's the case. But when we woke up this morning, the governor said that he wanted it shut down. Now apparently, since we drove over here, I guess he wants it open now. That's good. We're prepared to drive anywhere across the state if this is the progress we're willing to make. But we'd rather get back downtown and have an agreement that will keep the state moving forward and prevent a shutdown. I think we're seeing more politics in real time, according to that. But I really think that what we really need to do is do what people are looking at. They say, you know what, you need to get your work done. Governor, legislature, we've compromised. We've come, I think, pretty far. And I think that what we really need to do is have the governor prevent this shutdown. We are very close.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Spend some time in the sun.
That's